I specifically remember a moment 4 years ago when I was coming home from my office job, my 9 to 5 corporate marketing job, and I was walking home to my apartment. It was already dark. I had to decide if I wanted to go to the gym, if I wanted to go home and shower, what I wanted to make for dinner, and also had to get to bed so I wouldn't be too tired to do it all again tomorrow. And in that moment, I was like, there is no way this is what I'm going to be doing for the next 40 years of my life. Now this is my home. My neighborhood is a desert where the closest neighbor is about a mile away. There is nobody around me for miles. I am working right here. My 2 little cats are sitting at the couch with me, and my partner is outside filming a drum cover in the middle of the desert. No neighbors. My entire apartment is gone, and this is my new house. I live in about 80 square feet with my partner and our 2 cats, and I work for myself. I never thought that this would be my life.
Today's the day. We sold our house and pretty much everything else, and we are officially living off the grid. We accepted an offer for $20,000 over asking price, so we were only $5,000 away from doubling our original investment in the house. So with that being said, there's more exciting news to come with that. I can't tell y'all how good it feels to finally be here after a year of working so hard. We're using our Jackery for the first time today. I've got it plugged into the fridge. We've got the Explorer 1000 Plus, so I'll let you guys know how that goes. And we made it through our first night with no chicken disturbances, so we're pretty happy about that. Follow along for more to come.
I live in an off-grid house, and today I'm going to take you to the bathroom with me, which oddly enough starts with going outside. Going for just a little walk, getting my steps in. We have a composting toilet, so that means that all of our stuff just goes right back into the ground. We have 2 toilet seats because we share it with our neighbor. That one's mine. This is the sawdust that we use to put into the toilet. It's a composting toilet, so it's important to cover it with sawdust so that it can break down and do what it needs to do. I truthfully think this way of going to the bathroom is way more sanitary than a normal way. We don't have to worry about our toothbrushes being in the same room or our towels for the shower being in the same room, and I also don't have to clean the toilet ever. It also saves a ton of water, so helping the environment. I'm going to tell you some things I've learned to live without since moving to Alaska. First one being running water. I've talked about this one a bunch before. I live in a dry cabin, which means no indoor bathroom, no plumbing, no shower, no laundry. I live close enough to town to get city electricity, but not city water, so we have to get that delivered or haul it on our own. This means I do not get to take a shower every day. I also don't get city services like trash pickup, so I have to haul my own trash to the dump. The next one's kind of silly, but I am from Texas, so I do really miss quality Mexican food and just going to a cheap Mexican restaurant and getting a fishbowl margarita. That's something truly I miss, and it's really hard to find up here. Along with that, I miss really good Cajun food. My mom's from Louisiana, and I grew up going to crawfish boils, so that is just not an option up here. Where I live, there's no Target. We do have a Walmart and a Costco, but if you're a Target girly, you gotta drive 6 hours away. We're also missing a lot of chain fast food restaurants. We just had a Panda Express open up the other day, and I think people camped out overnight to go to Panda Express for the first time. Last, I'm just gonna say concerts. There is a fair amount of concerts, but we only get a couple headliners a year, and I grew up in Austin, which is a really big live music city, so there's not a whole lot of concerts going on here, and usually they're only happening in the summer.
10 reasons why I live off-grid in Mexico in the jungle. Number 1, have you seen this place? Good answer. Number 2, have you seen the price of rent? Ridiculous. Number 3, have you smelled the cities recently? Number 4, have you heard the cities recently? Non-stop sounds. Horrible sounds, horrible smells, horrible prices. Number 5, people. People are probably the most likely way to have your day ruined. It's not the plants or animals that ruin your day, it's the people. That's 5 really good reasons. Let me think of some more. Oh yeah, of course. All natural. The color green, it soothes. You're not gonna get this in the city, guys. Number 7, I love animals. There's a lot of animals out here, really cool insects, and we can learn a lot from them. Number 8, privacy. I mean, look around. These are my neighbors. No one telling me to turn my music down. No one rubbernecking on my property telling me I can or can't do this or that. So, and last but not least, I think everyone needs to be self-sustainable. Learn to make your own electricity, learn to find your own food and water. You don't really need all these corporations and governments to protect you and provide for you. You don't really need those cities that they've built for you. There's literally an entire other life that you could be living. And I guarantee it's cheaper, healthier, and a safer place to raise children. I don't know how many more reasons you need to move off grid, but there's enough. So follow if you want to find out what I'm doing out here, because we're about to do some big stuff and you're all invited.
Listen to me when I say you need to ditch the idea of paying rent and move into an RV like yesterday. We've been doing it nearly 3 years, and the only regret we have is not doing it sooner. My husband and I met in college, and we always say that if we knew about it then, we would have ditched dorm life and went straight into RV living. Yeah, the spaces are smaller and it's considered tiny living, but so are a lot of these apartments nowadays. And if you haven't searched up Travel Trailer or Fifth Wheel, they're about the same size as an apartment. You'd be surprised. Rather than spending the majority of your income on your monthly rent that grants you about, 31 days, you could pay a fraction of that you'd put towards your RV that you'd eventually own, and you could live wherever you want. RVs have bathrooms, they've got showers and toilets, there are full kitchens, dishwashers, multiple rooms with doors and locks. There are some really nice campgrounds and resorts that you could park your RV at. So if that's something that you've been interested in, I've got all the steps at the top of my page linked under How to RV Guide. Get out of the rat race, leave hustle culture, and stop spending all your time and money on a home that you barely can spend any time in. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Go check the link at the top of my page. It's got 10 of the first and most important steps that you have to take before you start RVing. What are you waiting for?
I just spent my life savings on 15 acres. It was cheaper than buying a 1-bedroom apartment in Canada. It does have a 3-season tiny cabin with no bathroom or shower that I'm gonna live in full time. It runs entirely off grid, except we do have hydro.
We want to redesign the layout to maximize storage because it's currently 16 by 16 feet,
Which is not considered a house in BC. The fridge and stove run off of propane.
And the main source of heat is this wood burning stove.
If we could enclose the porch, that would double our space. We could fit a queen bed and a bathroom. We would repurpose all the siding and just move it back.
So this is the very creepy well house, and it allows us to have free water. At the bottom of the property is a septic tank for 2 bedrooms. It's a separate bathhouse, but there's a stop work order on it because the plumbing was never permitted properly.
We're doing the cabin reno as cheap as possible, so all of this will be repurposed. That's a tour of the structures, but where the magic begins on this property is when you start hiking up into the mountain. There's a creek with a fairy village and cedars large enough, I think some might be old growths.
Hey, I moved to a cabin in the woods to escape capitalism. I thought that living in the city and being a part of the rat race and having a bunch of jobs that were unfulfilling is really what taught me that capitalism was hurting me and harming me. But actually, the real rude awakening has happened since I've been out here. I'm fortunate enough to take some time off and to work on myself and work on this cabin and commune with nature, but I have this little voice in my head. It says, what are you going to do next? How are you going to survive and make money? Shouldn't you be married with a family by now? I'm finding that the most devastating aspect of capitalism is that when you actually step away from it, you realize that it's still there taunting you. And what a depressing thing to consider, right? That you could move somewhere beautiful and live your dream and still have this voice above you constantly telling you should be turning your creative process into a means to make money, worried about retirement and a future and wondering if taking 6 months off for myself is actually going to be bad for me. So here's the thing, because I know a lot of people want to run away to the woods or the beach and do something similar. Well, being somewhere beautiful is a great escape, and it can allow you to pause your role in the cog system, the capitalist system. You are still wired to be future obsessed, career obsessed. You're going to think you're not growing fast enough, you're not moving fast enough, you're not doing enough. And this, my friends, is why having this rude awakening out in nature is so disheveling. I've already had all this in the city. Why do I have this now? I realize it's because no matter where I'm located, capitalism and the consciousness of the future and safety nets is always going to be there. And to be honest, being somewhere beautiful, you can quiet that voice a little bit, but you can only do that for so long. So go to nature, go somewhere beautiful to heal if you need to, but it's not a magic bullet. And to be honest, if anybody has any tips for how I can decolonize my mind or remove myself away from fear of future, let me know in the comments below.
The ultimate goal is to live off grid, to be out of the matrix. Minimize your bills, minimize spending, and be self-sufficient. I pay attention when we come up with these plans to like stop paying bills and to go on a strike, but a lot of people don't have that sense of security within themselves to be able to just stop. So the ultimate goal is to make steps forward to be self-sufficient or to be rent-free. So like living in a camper, living in a mobile home that you own, or living on your own land, growing your own food. Just start to progress towards being self-sufficient. Personally, my first step was to work for myself, but that's still working. I want to be able to not have to work because I don't need money to pay for anything because everything is in abundance. Food, water, shelter is the basic necessities we need to survive. And that's
So how do we survive off of 15 hours a week? For those of you that don't know, I am the only person currently working in our household, and I work 15 hours a week at a remote position so I can work from our cabin. And last time I shared that, a lot of people were really curious on how we survive on only 15 hours a week with one income. And I'm not getting paid like $100 an hour to do the work that I do. But what you have to keep in mind is that we don't have any expenses because we are off-grid in Alaska. We own our land, we own our house, we own our well. And because we're off-grid, we don't have those monthly recurring expenses like water, sewer, and electric. The only things we have to pay for are our phone bill, our internet bill, propane for our water heater and our stove, and gas for our generator for our electric. And groceries, of course, but we plan very well when it comes to groceries and we shop what's on sale. So for us, it's not hard to live off of 15 hours a week, but we set our lives up to be able to do that.